Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. Yes, I am late. I woke up at various points during the night and could hear the sleety, rainy stuff hitting the window and thought, oh, tomorrow is not going to be pretty. And it's not. I already got a text from a friend who said that the roads were terrible on her way to work. And so, yeah, I guess we'll be hanging out at home. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome. You're the first one popping on today. We'll see who else joins you. We have a card that I'm not sure I've ever pulled out of this deck before, which, given that it's me, I'm very surprising this card hasn't come up. Good morning, Barb. Welcome. Glad you're here. So, so right now, I can't even tell how much is on the ground. I don't know as though there's that much because most of it was sleety, rainy stuff first. Good morning, Carol, and welcome. Thank you for all the fun little things there, Abigail. Good morning, Nancy. Hello. Everybody's starting to roll in. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. So, yeah, I was running just a little bit behind because I didn't want to crawl out of the nice warm covers when I knew what was out there. So I said to my sister before she headed out for their walk that she and the dog might be walking on everybody's crunchy grass because the sidewalks are not going to be passable. We shall see. I'll get the weather report when she gets back. So, yeah, let's take some nice deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The counter says I have 3 people here. I know there's more of you here. We have the practical rebels together. It is good. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Wiggle them around a little bit. Hear the creaks and groans in there. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah, doesn't that feel better? Get some air moving, get some life moving. So our card deck for today is the Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. And I like these cards because it usually gently calls out something that it would be good for us to take a look at and address. And today's card is no different. And I think part of what I love about this card, A, the bulk of it is green, my favorite color, and B, it's very spring-like. We have butterflies and tulips and all kinds of pretty stuff. So, perfectionism. Anybody feel their gut clench a little bit? Let's see what it has to say. Breath. Let it go. Perfectionism. Permission to make mistakes is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. I like that. Permission to make mistakes. So what if every time you sallied forth to do something, you gave yourself permission to be fallible, to make mistakes, to learn from those mistakes, to move forward, make adjustments, etc., etc. What if that were your normal mode of operating? First of all, my guess is you would try a whole lot more stuff. Second, you'd have a whole lot more fun because you're allowing for the human learning curve to occur. Third, I think you would set a beautiful example for others who get all wound around their axle about not doing things right, well enough, whatever. I think there are many, good morning, Mel, glad you're here, welcome. There are many, especially the people who pop into my mind are innovators, sports people, etc., who rehearse. Wonder what would happen if I did this. Wonder what would happen if I tweaked that. I'm going to make this little adjustment, blah, blah, blah. To find, good morning, Tracy. Glad you are here. To find their sweet spot. And there's also those who are willing to allow that sometimes you just have one of those days where you aren't spot on, where you aren't Well, all of those days are days where you are not perfect. We're just not. We're just not. Permission to make mistakes. Yes. And who do we need that permission from? Yes, ourselves. Ourselves. We need to give ourselves permission to screw it up. There are oftentimes, in sales, there's many, many tools that are used to help people, A, get comfortable with making mistakes, and B, get comfortable with rejection. And really, when someone says no to you, it isn't a rejection. It's merely not a good fit. I'm glad this is a comfort. That's awesome. Good, good, good. When you make a mistake, I think a lovely thing to say is, oh, how human of me. Not, oh, I'm terrible, horrible, awful, look at how I screwed that up, blah, blah, blah. You know, I deserve to eat stones, whatever. Oh, how human of me. Look at what I just screwed up. How human of me. Give yourself permission to make those mistakes. And then ask questions. What did I learn from that? What could I tweak so that it would go more smoothly the next time? Analyze it. Spend some time digging into it a little bit in terms of what does this have for me? What can I mine out of this that's going to be of use to me? So, Diane, who was the one who went to work and the roads are terrible, apparently some guy did a complete 360 in front of her, and it would behoove him to ask himself, okay, what can I do differently? This was in a roundabout, no less. What can I do differently so that this doesn't happen again? Be good to ask the question. When we make a mistake and get all embarrassed and humiliated and don't want to think about it and, you know, our toes curl in our shoes and all that stuff, we really aren't allowing that to be the learning opportunity it could be. And we're also not allowing ourselves to grow. Everyone makes mistakes. Absolutely. It is part of the human condition. We could even use mistakes as a validation of our humanity. Oh, looky there. I'm human. How cool is that? Yay me. So, letting go of the perfectionism. It doesn't have to be just right. It can be good enough. What is good enough? What is good enough? Ask yourself that, because you can save a whole lot of time, energy, and self-flagellation if you've defined what is good enough. So let's say, I'm going to pick one and make it up. Let's say you're learning a new language and set a goal for yourself. I'm going to learn 3 new words a day. 3 new words a day. That's what I'm going to learn. Set the goal at something reasonable. First of all, I'm going to speak this language fluently in a month. No, not happening. I can learn 3 new words a day. And then we can measure. Ooh, okay, so consistently I've been learning 2 new words a day. What could I do to maybe bump that up to the 3 that I was hoping for? Work with yourself. Think about it. Well, I guess I have the radio on in the background when I'm working on radio. You can tell how old I am. Anyway, working on my word learning. Maybe I need to do it in a quiet place. Maybe I need to have uninterrupted time to practice. Maybe I need flashcards. I don't know, whatever. But working with yourself to not beat yourself up when you fall short, not if you fall short, when you fall short, and then figure out, how can I move forward from here? This is where I'm at right now. Mary Kay Ash used to say, attract number grows. Her meaning was, when we pay attention to things consciously, we're consciously putting in the effort that needs to occur to get the outcome that we're looking for. So consciously, where do you find yourself being perfectionistic? I tend to be perfectionistic when I'm writing an email, of all things, and it's hard for me when people send me emails that either are so convoluted. I'm like the English teacher who wants to get out the red pen and, all these words are superfluous. You could say it this way, it would be much clearer. Yeah. So I can back off on that. I've practiced. When I'll notice, oh, I should have put a paragraph there. Well, I'm just going to leave it, and I send it anyway. It's a good opportunity to practice not being so rigid about all this stuff. Attempting to ease up a bit, because then there can be more forward movement. When we hold ourselves so rigidly accountable, we can't pick up any momentum, really. So it means that we go much slower than we would if we could allow a little latitude. That does not mean getting lax and sending out some horrendous, heinous thing that the person on the other end goes, what was she trying to say here? But we like to do that to ourselves, don't we? If I let go of this, it means I'm going completely to the other end of the continuum. No, it doesn't. It means you're coming off of that rigid edge where you've held yourself that has kept you stuck. Back off a little bit and see what happens. See what happens. So let's take a breath. Let it go. And I'm going to read it once more. First, I'll show you how pretty it is. Perfectionism. Permission to make mistakes is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. So when you start something, especially if you start something in front of other people, maybe you say, let's see what we can learn from this, and then do it. And then do it. So then you're already accommodating for your lack of perfection. Mess around with this today. See what you can learn. See what comes up. Maybe you practice even just repeating what Abigail put there. Everyone makes mistakes. I forgive myself. Everyone makes mistakes. I forgive myself. Yay me for proving my humanity. However you want to go about it. But go about it. Go about it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Oh my goodness, there was a verbal mistake. Yay me for showing my humanity. All right. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. And if you get off your high horse of perfectionism, you're going to see what you're capable of. Bye-bye.